Hello and welcome to WashingtonExec's video series. I'm Amanda Ziadeh with WashingtonExec, and with me today is Kevin Kelly. He's a former LGS Innovations CEO, now leading a partnership to build an advanced tech and innovations company focused on next-generation solutions for the defense, national security, and intelligence missions. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kevin.
Thanks for having me, Amanda. It's nice to meet you.
You too, you too. So I'd like to start by asking if you can tell us a bit about this new venture called MissionX.
Sure. So MissionX is a partnership between six people specifically. Myself, my former COO, Robert Gallegos, our former chief of staff at LGS Innovations, Chris McCall, and then three investment professionals from Madison Dearborn, Matt Norton, who runs their business and government software solutions growth investment area from Madison Dearborn, Brandon Levitan, who's his partner in that business, and Nick Rice, who's a junior vice president, helping them with analysis and identifying opportunities. So you've got three seasoned executives from the defense and aerospace arena that have spent, more than 20 years in this business, inventing, creating, bringing products to market, partnered with our former investment partners at Madison Dearborn, who know an awful lot about investing for growth, how to leverage the banking industry to fuel that growth, setting reasonable expectations for what the returns on those investments are. And frankly, those three individuals in particular have a pretty good understanding of what's required to develop technology, including the risk of failure, the risk of failing to achieve any specific goals, and learning from that while you make new investments. So MissionX is Robert, Chris, and I, and as a project team, we're partnered with those three individuals from Madison Dearborn.
Right, wonderful. And to set the stage a bit for the mission of MissionX, what exactly are the evolving needs of the defense and intelligence landscape?
So we just all came through a period where we were investing heavily in solutions for the asymmetric warfare environment, fighting the global war on terror in an area where you may not have an adversarial nation state to focus your attention and to leverage the political side of conflict in addition to the kinetic side. So we had to develop a whole host of solutions for that asymmetric warfare environment, for geolocation, for blue force tracking, for signals reconnaissance, some tactical cyber offensive capabilities to be deployed in the theater, a lot of autonomous vehicle technology, navigation technology, all to support the warfighter in a very kinetic, close combat type environment. A few years ago, unfortunately, the rise of our near peer adversaries, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, brought the need for a complete technology modernization in the defense and intelligence mission areas that are going to be capable of combating threats that are somewhat different than what we saw in the asymmetric warfare environment. So now is an opportunity for us to take a look at new novel material technologies, antenna technologies, millimeter wave technology, 5G for communications and sensing, some of the advances in laser technology, the addition of more autonomous processing for software, for navigation, for collect, for geolocation, making sense of big data. You hear these buzzwords a lot. They actually mean something in this space where your adversary is producing a tremendous amount of information, all that needs to be processed very quickly and disseminated in a timely fashion. This changing threat environment requires a lot of technology, which requires investment, which requires brand new ideas, invention, new products, services wrapped around those products, and so forth. So that's what we see as the changing mission need environment. And it's in areas where we have specific skills and experience in technology, in the technologies that are relevant in those areas. I'm an electrical engineer. My colleague Robert is also an electrical engineer. We bring Chris McCall along with us because he's much more of a business person and keeps us out of trouble. But he helps us with business analytics, investment thesis, business planning, the infrastructure of running a company, putting, as we call them, the API between the technology and the corporate functions, making sure that everything runs smoothly and efficiently. And so the technologies that are needed to enable those mission areas are ones that we have a lot of experience with, having spent our careers in cellular telephony and undersea networking, fiber optic communications, avionics systems, sensor systems, wireless communications, and building the next generation space payloads for both communications and sensing. These are areas that we have a lot of experience in, and I think are going to be highly relevant for the evolving mission area.
Wonderful. So how will MissionX then bring those opportunities to the landscape?
So our goal is to find a company or a group of companies that we can acquire to build an enterprise, much like we did with LGS Innovations, where we focused in a handful of technology areas. We can't be everything to everybody. We want to focus in areas that we think we can make a big difference, make a huge improvement for the safety, the accuracy, the efficiency of the defense and intelligence mission areas. And if we can acquire a main platform company and build technologies through investment in R&D and in our innovation approach that we used at LGS, we'd like to run that same model again to bring new products and solutions to market. Sometimes that you're going to get lucky and you're going to find all of that in this, $200 or $300 million gem out there, and you can acquire it and partner with the management team to run that and build it long term. Or the other scenario is we find 2 or 3 of these with relevant complementary technology areas and a culture that will adapt to this model of R&D that we're used to, that produces highly capable solutions in a short period of time with good reliability. And so not exactly sure how it's going to end up. We're in the early stages of meeting with founders, meeting with technologists, even meeting with larger companies that may have a portion of their business they want to carve off and sell because it's not core to the rest of their business. Occasionally you'll find a very large services company that has a small product component, and that would be a better fit with us than it is with them. And that's something that we can talk about acquiring. But that is how we're going to build a new company and bring new solutions to market.
And I know you've only just begun and announced the launch, but what is the long-term goal, or what does the future of MissionX look like in a perfect visionary world?
There's a couple of different scenarios out there that I think are very attractive, both to my partners and I, as well as to several of the business leaders and founders that we talked to today. One scenario is that we build a very capable, self-sufficient solutions company. If it's a fully integrated space-based solutions company, for instance, that has both government and commercial technologies that are relevant to both the government and the commercial marketplace, we can talk about IPOing the company and bringing the next great technology and innovation to the public markets through a stock sale. Another scenario is to do what we did with LGS, which is to grow that company specifically focused on a handful of mission areas, and then find the right large integrator whose solutions are adjacent to or heavily reliant on those technologies, and integrate them into their enterprise, much like we did with CACI. LGS fit a very important strategic need that they had, and it was a nice fit into that market and into their business. So a couple of different scenarios there, but the ideal, all of them involve finding the right technology, the right people, enhancing the culture, making those investments, building new technologies, new products, making sure they meet the mission need. In advance of the mission need becoming a critical issue, one of the things we like to do in our model is to meet with mission leads and understand what's keeping you up at night. What are you struggling with? I can read RFPs all day long. Contractor shall develop, the system shall deliver. We can do that all day long, and that's an important aspect of the government's acquisition model. But one of the better things we can do is find out what they're struggling with from a technology standpoint before they start writing requirements, and let us start thinking through the art of the possible, so we can start making some seed investments in areas that may solve a very difficult problem in a novel way, and then expose them to that R&D along the way. Collect some feedback. Is this meeting your needs? Am I building a Me Too solution? In which case we don't want to do that. Am I falling short of what you think the state of the art is elsewhere? We don't want to do that. So that feedback, constant feedback loop is a very valuable aspect of what we do and how we do it. So if I were to get somebody thinking about what does the future look like, it's a very collaborative, mission collaborative environment that builds solution in advance of a critical need, so that we can help solve hard problems in a timely fashion.
And is there a call to action, or somewhere those interested peers can go to find out more information or contact you if they're interested?
Absolutely. Within our press release, there's a link to our website. Pretty simple website, tells you a little bit about us, what it is that we're looking for, and more importantly, has a link for you to contact us and get a discussion going. It's MissionXpartners.com. Pretty simple. I would like to, even if it's just a fleeting thought, if it's a thought in the back of your mind, we meet on a pretty regular basis with CEOs, with business unit presidents within a larger firm, who are contemplating what would life be like if we were to join forces with MissionX. What would it be? What else would you invest in if you were to acquire us? What kind of markets are you looking to prosecute with our technology? Where can you take us? And we start that conversation. More often than not, it just leads to a friendly relationship where we stay in touch, but occasionally we find something that's fruitful for both sides. These aren't situations that you can force. We're not a heavy on the sell kind of group of folks. We want to make sure that we find the right match between where a company is in its maturation, what they've been able to achieve with their own innovation, their own investment, and then have a conversation with us about what we might be able to do to supercharge that and bring it to the next level. Occasionally we find a good match there in culture and vision and technology, and we can go forward. But I would encourage, even if it's just a thought in the back of your mind, to reach out to us and start the conversation, and we'll see where it takes us.
Wonderful. And we'll include that link below for anyone interested. And congrats again on the launch. We look forward to watching the success and the news of MissionX as it plays out this year. So thanks for joining me today, Kevin.
Yes, thank you, Amanda. Thanks for the interest.